Tanya Kraft was one of the most trusted people in the tiny town of Chickamauga, Georgia. A beloved, beautiful kindergarten teacher with two small kids of her own. Parents here felt great comfort sending their precious children to the safety of her class. Tanya would protect them, or so they thought.
The last day of school, actually the first day of summer, came and we were going to the swimming pool and two detectives knocked on my door.
Tanya Kraft had about 20 years' experience under her belt, but nothing could have prepared her for what those two detectives told her.
They started throwing accusations that I had molested 3 young girls, and at the same time my children were at home. A friend of theirs was at the house, and I was just trying to wrap my mind around what they were saying and the accusations they were throwing at me.
The cops left, and somehow Tanya kept her wits about her. She called a lawyer who phoned investigators, but the cops were playing hardball.
And when they called me back, they said that I was not cooperating, they were going to arrest me. I was refusing to speak to them, and I said, that is absolutely not true. My attorney has tried to contact you, and they said, we don't work for your attorney, so I guess we're going to come arrest you. And I said, I will talk to you, but I will not talk to you without an attorney present.
Sum it up for me. What were the next 2 weeks like for you?
The next 2 weeks were hope, disbelief, hell. I went from thinking there is no way that I could get arrested if I hadn't done anything wrong. A lot of prayer. I had friends that came over and we actually had a meeting where people sat down and prayed and we cried and we talked. I agreed to take a polygraph with the police station.
So you wanted to take a polygraph?
I wanted to speak to the detectives. I wanted to take a polygraph, and they would not speak to me. They refused to speak to me with my attorney present. So I did not get the chance to speak to them. And then when the polygraph was scheduled, my attorney called me and said they already have a warrant for your arrest. They were not intending on you taking the polygraph, and there are cameras here where they can have you on film being arrested when you show up to take the polygraph. Actually, when my attorney called me, he said, do not come. They have a warrant for your arrest, and they've kind of set up, he said, a perp walk.
Tanya turned herself in. She was arrested, photographed, and printed. She also got her first look at the arrest warrant.
You were accused of molesting 3 young girls.
Yes, correct. There were 2 girls that were friends of my daughters, and one was my own daughter.
Your own daughter. When you saw it, was your own daughter named in this document?
Yes, that was the first time I had seen her name involved in anything with this.
Tanya made bail and knew she needed much more legal help.
You're always reluctant in a case like this. You want to make sure you're comfortable with the case and believe your own client, obviously, first, before you can devote any effort to it. When there's 1, it's hard. When there's 2, it's harder. When there's 3 children that are saying it, your natural presumption is, well, they're like everybody else.
You knew this was going to be tough.
Absolutely. And then I met Tanya. And it didn't take more than about 15 minutes, I would say, to convince me that this was completely a witch hunt.
Tanya and her legal team got to work. The charges came as a result of complaints from 2 parents and Tanya's ex-husband. There was bad blood there, and her relationship with one of the complaining moms was rather strained.
First of all, it's very rare to hear a female defendant that is accused of this type of crime. Secondly, obviously the fact that it was her own daughter that was part of the accusation made it more salacious. And then I think thirdly, who I call the spearhead of this, Sandra, is from a very prominent family in this town. And I think everyone latched onto that, and it became what it became.
And then there was the repeated questioning of the children.
They want to please the person they're talking to. And the more times you say, are you sure nothing happened, the more they begin to think, well, maybe the answer they're looking for is that something did.
Maybe something did happen.
Particularly with the younger children like this. Tanya's child actually never said anything that we ever could equate to that should have been a crime or a charge.
It took nearly a year, but Tanya was indicted and hit with a stunner, 22 counts of child molestation.
Reading the indictments make me nauseated. The things that they claimed in there are just disgusting, and And anybody that did do those things should go to prison for the rest of their life. But I did not, and to see my name and to see my daughter's name and these other children's names was very, very upsetting. But on the other hand, it told us what we needed to do, how we needed to do it, and how we needed to get there.
Coming up, the explosive trial of Tanya Craft.